Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the channel, Shelly's Millions. I hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. Thank you to those of you who joined my mom and I for our Thanksgiving live chat session. She really enjoyed that. And yeah, let's get into some of your unemployment questions. One of the questions that so many people are asking about that PUA, proof of unemployment, is they're asking what to do if they were working for a family member and the family member was no longer able to offer them a job, and or they're wondering what to do if they had a job offer and the employer that they were going to work for is just totally closed and they're not able to get a letter from that employer. A lot of the times, maybe you applied in person, maybe your interview was in person, and you had a verbal agreement that you were going to start work. And unfortunately, now that employer is totally closed, or your family was not able to hire you. Your family just needs, if it was for your family that you need to get the PUA, proof of employment, you just want them to write a letter, preferably on company business letterhead, that says that they offered you a job and that they were unable to hire you due to the pandemic. Good morning, Levon. Morning, Sugar Sprinkles. Morning, Miss Joy. They don't need to mention that your family, right? Just the name of their business, and a lot of times a sole proprietor, right, is just that person's name. But there's a lot of people with the same name. The EDD, you don't need to get into the fact that it was a family member who you were going to work for, right? You just say, I was going to start working at Andrew's AC company. And then Andrew's AC company hopefully has letterhead that they can put that on, even if they don't have letterhead, right? Like I'm a sole proprietor. I don't have letterhead that says Shelly's Millions. So they would still write the affidavit for you. The EDD does prefer that it comes from an employer. So you would just say, hi, this is Andrew. I run the business Andrew's AC company. I was going to hire Shelly's Millions, but due to the pandemic, business closed down and I was unable to offer her a position. We're hoping business picks back up soon. um, but yeah, we had to close and we're not able to hire Shelly as a receptionist or as an AC installer or as the person who picked up the parts, whatever the job was going to do. Yes, Andrew's AC, you're now CEO. I should have said of Andrew's tires. So yeah, you're just going to want to have your family write the affidavit as the business owner to the EDD. Yeah, so, and then then they're going to sign it and leave a business phone number. Again, I'm a sole proprietor. My business phone number is my cell phone number. I'm mixing a little bit of business and personal there, but that's the way it is. Guys, all right. First, I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. Take a minute and like the video. That would make me thankful. Second, Starbucks got rid of my favorite holiday drink, which is the eggnog latte. You guys know that I don't really believe in spending a lot of money on Starbucks, right? I'm in the Graham Stephan camp of the 20-cent iced coffee. But I really like that during the holidays, and they don't make it anymore. They do make my favorite treat still, though, which is the cranberry bliss bar. But I'm really disappointed that they don't have their eggnog latte, but I have made my own this morning. So just a little thing there. Okay. William says, I got intel that other states are taking 1 to 4 months for proof to be decided on, just FYI. That sounds like an accurate timeline. I was saying maybe 2 weeks to 2 months, but I really don't know. What I do know is this isn't like the certification questions that we answered for our unemployment benefits, right? This is going to be something that a computer isn't going to be able to scan and say, yes, Shelly's Millions was going to work for Andrew's AC company, right? Some person is going to have to read what was submitted. Some person is going to have to sort through the tax returns or the 1099s or the W-2s or the affidavits that we're going to send. And For that to happen, someone has to read it. And there were over 1 million people just in California that were asked to submit PUA, proof of employment or self-employment. So that's going to take some time, right? It's going to take some time. So so yeah, we don't have a timeline on when you will hear if your documents were accepted. You get a confirmation that they were received, but in terms of if what you sent to the EDD is considered an acceptable form of proof of work, we don't have a timeline on when they are going to let us know if it's acceptable. Okay. Dorinda says, how long do we have to send proof in? For some people, it's 90 days. For other, it is 21 days. So there should be, it should tell you when you log onto your UI Online homepage, it should tell you how long you have. Good morning, Mercedes Benz. How do I think about the new variant? It's concerning more lockdowns, maybe. I think everyone is going to do everything that they can to avoid shutting down again, right? The government doesn't want that. A lot of businesses doesn't want that. Don't want that. I don't, unless they really have to, I think they're going to try and avoid that. They want people back to work. You know, there's a whole group of people that even when we were supposed to be on lockdown, they were saying, get back to work, saying that they didn't think that we should be quarantined. Even here in California, there were businesses saying, hey, you're hurting my business. You know, hey, how come a grocery store gets to be open? Hey, how come the gas station needs to be open? There's people, I don't think we're going to shut down again. And if we do, it's going to be because things are really, really bad. And I don't want to see things be bad. So I'm hoping that we don't have to lock down again. And I'm hoping things don't get bad, right? Okay. Drove says, I haven't received anything yet. So if you haven't received anything, that's okay. Make sure to check your UI Online homepage. Sometimes there's going to be an alert at the top of an action item that you need to do. So make sure that there's no action item once you log onto UI Online on your UI Online homepage asking you to submit or upload documents for proof of PUA employment or self-employment. Okay. Edward, yeah, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving as well. You guys have on the cutest dress and it's not even showing. Anyway, $24 from Amazon. Okay. Vanjie says, how was my Thanksgiving? I gained 5 pounds and now I need to hit the gym. Hopefully it's all just water weight. Yes. They say that eating bad for one day isn't going to, that's not going to last forever. Probably is water weight. You don't gain 5 pounds overnight, although it seems possible, right? I ate way too much pie. If that's okay. So yeah, my Thanksgiving was good, guys. My mom is still here with me. We might try and film a video. I don't know. I don't think she's into it, but we'll see. We might watch a movie. I'm not sure what we're going to do today. Bad Grandpa, if you're in here, Bad Grandpa saw Ghostbusters Afterlife. There was my mom sneezing in the background. I don't know if you heard that. Bad Grandpa just watched Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm curious, is that good? I liked the Ghostbusters where it was the all-girl cast. And of course, I loved the original. I was totally like an 80s kid, so I grew up with Ghostbusters. But I'm not sure if Afterlife is good, so I would love a movie review. It's playing at my theater, so I could take her complimentary. House of Gucci is the big film. Debbie, if you're in here, let me get back to your EDD questions. Okay. Drove says, I'm on PUA and I haven't received anything. I did upload my documents back on November 2020 and my PUA ended on September 4th. So if you already submitted proof of income to the EDD and your unemployment claim started before December 27th of 2020, then everything should be okay. They're not supposed to ask you again for proof of employment. But I was listening to Jenny Silver's live Q&A. We've both had people where they're saying, I already submitted my documents and the EDD is asking again. And then we've had people say, I never submitted documents and Um, the EDD hasn't asked me yet, so it's unclear. It is possible that the EDD is not finished sending out the um the notices and putting the alerts on your UI online homepage that you need to upload documents. It's possible that that's not complete yet. Alex, I submitted my PUA documents. Hopefully, I'm okay. I didn't eat turkey for Thanksgiving, but I did get myself a new dress. So hot. You go, Alex. I love that. I got my new dress too. You guys, they have been advertising this thing to me on Amazon for literal, I swear, like 2 years. And the thing with Amazon, when you're plus size and you see a cute dress for $24. It's hard to know, is it quality or not? And like this part of the material isn't the best, but it has pockets. So of course I'm excited about that, which makes it a great work dress. Okay. But congratulations on your new dress, and I'm sure it is hot. Edward is saying hello to Sugar Sprinkles. Fear says, PUA, I kind of felt even when this program was introduced, some complications would occur after the programs ended. Sure enough, here we are. Yes, and there could be um people on regular claims could have questions come up after the fact, right? I've also had people say, Shelly, why is the EDD doing this now? Why are they asking for proof of work, proof of employment, proof of self employment after all the benefits have ended? And the reason why is that it is a federal requirement, right? So the federal government created all this money to give to all of the states to help all of us who were unemployed during the pandemic. And part of what the guidelines were from the federal government, from the Department of Labor, said, hey, yeah, go ahead, give that money to the people, get it out as fast as you can, because people can't wait, right? We can't wait, right? Okay, so earlier we talked about how it could take up to 4 months, it could take longer to find out if your documents were accepted, right? And if they're adequate proof. Imagine needing the money to pay your bills, to pay your rent, to put food on the table, and you have to wait 4 to 6 months for a decision, right? That wasn't really a viable path. Should the EDD have been capable of doing it on a faster timeline? Absolutely, 100%. Even now, it shouldn't take 4 months or possibly longer to find out if your proof of employment documents are going to be satisfactory, right? It shouldn't take that long, but they don't have the manpower to go through it, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, right? Because they hadn't staffed up yet, regardless of whether they outsourced their customer service or what have you. They hadn't done any of that. They had a staff of, I don't know how many their staff was. Let's say 100. The 100 people wasn't going to be enough for all of the people in California who were unemployed. And, everything was shut down, so you couldn't go in the office. So how are they gonna get people paid? They needed to get that money to people quickly, right? So that's why they did that first, and then they're asking later, but that is a federal requirement that they ask for this. But yeah, people who received conditional payments from the EDD are probably still waiting to hear if for their phone determination interview. So there are people on regular unemployment that are still probably going to have issues as well. Ugh. Anyway, okay, Sarah. Oh, I've got the top chat set. How does that always happen? Let me fix that, and then let me get back to Sarah's question. Hi, Ben. Okay. Let me scroll up here, guys. Okay. Oh, I hear my mom listening to this in the other room, and it's weird. Like I just turned my voice, but on delay. Okay. Boop, doo. Where is this? Sarah says, I'm a UI worker. Should I prove any documents? And how long do they decide for an extension? So there aren't any unemployment extensions right now. That's thing number one. So once your benefits are done, they're done. Most of us ended either September 4th or September 11th for our unemployment benefits. Some people were approved for a new claim, but that was only if they had attachment to the workforce since filing their original claim. In terms of providing documentation, if you were on a regular unemployment claim, If you log on to your EDD UI Online homepage and it is asking for proof of employment, you do need to send that to the EDD, even if you are on a regular unemployment claim. What happened is some of the customer service reps at the EDD, while they were putting in the programming for the PEUC extension, they didn't want us to have gaps in our payments. And to avoid that, while the computer programming wasn't in place, what they did is they put us on PUA unemployment benefits. So hopefully they switched you back, but there may be a time like right before December of 2020, maybe again in March of 2021, where you were on PUA for a couple of weeks and they need proof of employment for that. And you would just send them your W 2 or your pay stub from your previous employer. But yes, if they are asking for it, you do need to send that in. Family Dollar says, ready for Christmas. I am. I got my tree and put a star on top of it and all. That is wonderful. Every year I contemplate buying a Christmas tree. And I have two dilemmas with a Christmas tree. One, my mom is allergic. She has a tree that's up all year round. She says she dusts it off for Christmas. Um, so we have not dusted off the Christmas tree at her house yet. But my dilemma is, and okay, so my mom's allergic to Christmas trees. When I tell you guys that my mom is allergic to everything, she's allergic to everything. She is allergic to real Christmas trees. So I think once maybe growing up, we had a real one. She's like, I'll just suffer through my allergies. Um, and then I think when you buy a house for the first time, you do two things. You plant a garden in your yard and you buy like a real Christmas tree. But they're so expensive. And is that good for the environment, right? Like I want like cutting down trees cannot be good for the environment. But then I think Christmas trees are maybe grown specifically to be cut down. I don't know. Seems like it uses a lot of resources. And then the electricity to keep the lights on. I'm weird about like money and like I am more about the feeling. Like I do love a Christmas tree, right? Totally get it if you want to do that, but like the electricity, the cost of the tree, and is it bad for the environment? Usually I talk myself out of buying one. Although I did already think about should I go get a Christmas tree this year, but I probably won't because I think they're super expensive. Okay. Airbnb assistant says EDD is very unorganized. They should have asked for those documents a long time ago. Yeah, they should have, but we kind of talked about why they didn't. They just didn't have the manpower to go through it. And if when you first applied for unemployment benefits, the EDD would have said, "Okay, thanks for applying. We'll let you know in 4 to 6 months if you're approved to receive this money." Like, there really would have been, like, protest, and that would have hurt people probably a lot more than issuing them the money and then going back and asking for it now. Or not asking for the money now, but asking for the proof of employment now. Okay, Siegel says, lockdown 2.0, unlikely unless things get really bad again. Also, many of us won't qualify for unemployment because of lack of wages, right? That is correct. In some ways, if they really did mandate a shutdown again, they would likely, the federal government, right, if it was shut down on a federal level. But keep in mind, states like Florida, they are, shunning the shutdowns. So, it'd be very hard to get states like Florida on board with another shutdown. It probably would need to come from the federal level, but it's possible that if there was another shutdown that they would re-implement a program like PUA, right? Um, and if you were legitimately looking for work, if you had intentions to work, plans to start your own business or job offer, then you would have qualified for PUA unemployment benefits. So it's possible they would reinstate that if we did shut down again. But yeah, most of us would not qualify for traditional unemployment claim unless you've gone back to work, which luckily a lot of you have told me that you've gone back to work. So that is good. William says, I collected 167 and I never got income proof. Is this normal? Yes, if you only got $167, that was the minimum amount of PUA unemployment benefits. And most people only submitted proof of income to the EDD if they wanted a higher weekly benefit amount. So if you didn't submit proof of income, it is very likely that now they will be asking for proof of employment. Um, so yeah, the people that only received $167, that's going to be the most likely category that's going to be asked for this additional proof of employment, proof of work, proof of self-employment from the EDD. So you definitely want to log onto your UI Online homepage and check and see if there's an alert asking you to upload documents. Okay. Edward. Oh, it's talking to Sugar Sprinkles. Do you guys know each other? All right, that's cool. Or you're getting to know each other. I love it. Okay. Sandy says, I'm so late on this. I had PUA. What documents do I need to submit? Do I only submit my taxes? Yes, that would be enough. Submitting your taxes would count, and that would be enough. So just upload your taxes, and you should be okay. Ben says, likes the dress. Yeah, black's my favorite color too, and it's very retro. It's got like a little poof skirt. Some people wear like a little poodle skirt under it. Sugar Sprinkles, thank you for joining us a little bit on Thanksgiving. It was nice having you there. Yeah, my mom joined in on the live for Thanksgiving, which wasn't really about unemployment. It was just kind of to make sure that anybody that was alone on Thanksgiving, like, had somebody. And we've very much like gotten a little bit of family drama. Yeah, so it should have felt just like visiting your own relatives. Joel says, never will there be another lockdown. An EDD generous pay and stimulus checks, inflation, it'll get really crazy in that case. Yes, that could be true as well. Prince Ali says, Christmas is here and I don't have enough money for gifts. Uh-oh, maybe I'll have to box my family members empty boxes with letters that say I owe you on it. Haha. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. I don't remember any presents that I got as a kid. What I remember is how my mom I remember how she wrapped things, right? You can go to the Dollar Tree and get, like, maybe you've got a relative that likes cats. They probably have a cute pair of socks that have cats on them. Get it for $1. Wait till you have an empty toilet paper roll and stuff those socks in an empty toilet paper roll and then wrap that. Um, because they won't have any idea what the heck is in something shaped like a toilet paper roll. Get creative. Find like a bunch of rocks outside and put the really lightweight socks in um in a box with rocks, so that they'll have no idea what it is. And it's not about gifts, right? I had played the Taco Bell game with my mom. That was fun. Like, play games, rent a free movie from the library, start like a tradition. Your friends and family and relatives, they will remember the traditions that you started. They're not going to remember the gifts, right? Um, my mom usually gets me a pair of socks. They're normally maybe Christmas related, but I don't remember like a specific pair of socks, but I remember the tradition. So that gift giving, I think, is overrated in the holiday season. Okay. Um, but if you guys did do any Black Friday shopping, I'm curious to know what you guys got and things like that. Okay, let's see here. Jillian says, Oh, I should send a link. I'll leave a link in the chat after this. I should have, like, affiliate links for everything. It'll be an affiliate link. Yeah, 24.99. Yeah, and it has pockets. Okay. Sarah says, "What do I think? Will we be paying back what we received during the pandemic?" As long as you submit your documents, guys, the impression that I got from my contact at the EDD is that they really just want you to submit something and that they're gonna be pretty easygoing about it. Um, my kind of feeling is that they're kind of like, we paid this. It's gonna be a nightmare to get it back. Probably a lot of people would not even financially be able to pay it back. So as long as you don't skip that step, of submitting your documents, my feeling is that the EDD is going to try and work with you and try and accept what you provide them. They're not looking, I think there's probably a group of people that wishes that they would really go after everybody who doesn't dot every I and cross every T in terms of their applying for their benefits. That is not how my contact made it seem. Um, with that said, just because my contact didn't make it seem like they were going to go after people, it's quite possible that there will be follow-up questions regarding the documents you send in. So be prepared for that. Be prepared to wait for, I guess, up to 4 months to find out if your proof of employment is accepted, and then be prepared that they might have some follow-up questions for you as well, and that could be a lengthy process. But I think the big thing really is going to be submitting something. Um, so please, please don't skip that if they ask. Edward says, "Oh, eating food and watching some good sci-fi movies then, okay. Morning, Francis. Aw, thank you, Tiff, for I like Miss Millions. It's cute. You have a claim balance for 7K. How can I recover it if I need it? Unfortunately, if you have a balance on your claim, most of the benefits and the programs, if you are on an extension, you don't have access to that money anymore. If you are on PUA unemployment, you don't have access to that anymore. The only way that you would have access to an unemployment claim balance is if you're still within your original benefit year and you hadn't used all of your money. If you're past your benefit year, your original benefit year, then you wouldn't have access to any of that claim balance because the programs that provided those claim balances, those all expired. So the only way at this point to qualify for more unemployment benefits would be if you had attachment to the workforce since filing your original claim and you qualified for a whole new claim. The claim balances are forfeited, unfortunately. And on that bad news, I'm going to take a drink of my homemade eggnog latte. And if you guys could like the video, I would appreciate it. Miss Joy says, a friend of mine applied for Amazon back on 8 of 20 and received an email with a letter of employment. But when she got there, they offered her different hours than what she applied for and could not accept the offer. EDD is asking for proof of an offer of a job between 2019 and 2020. Can she submit that email and would that be acceptable? I would do two things. I would submit that offer letter and I would also explain that I would explain I'm a little bit iffy on that. I would, you know what? I would just also submit a letter that's saying like I was offered this job but I was unable to start due to the pandemic. Um, yeah, I would be careful with that one. I'm a little hesitant how to advise you on specifically on that because normally if you had a job offer, it needed to be closed or it needed to be taken back because of the pandemic. It sounds like Amazon just wasn't upfront, but that may be like kind of different reasoning, and that can be a little tricky. I wish I had a better answer for you on that. Okay, Vanessa said, "I got myself a fake plastic tree, easy for the environment and easy to use every year." Yes, those are better for the environment, and we had one of those every year when I was growing up, a fake plastic tree. For all I know, we might still have it somewhere in my mom's house, but I don't have room to store that, right? My house is crowded. I had a little meltdown on Thanksgiving about lack of storage space here. My whole house, guys, is 638 square feet, which is teeny, teeny, teeny tiny. From the front, it almost looks like it's just a garage. Okay. Nicole says, sent my contract of business. This is sad that they're even trying to hurt the people that are already hurting. I know it seems like they're trying to hurt people. That's not really their intention. This is a requirement from the federal government in order for California to have received the federal government funding for programs like PUA. It's required by the federal government, by the Department of Labor. That's one of the guidelines that they set. And so the EDD has to comply so that California can get the money. Basically, right? Basically, this is a good analogy. California is being asked to show proof of employment themselves or proof of following all the steps to the Department of Labor. They're being asked to show, hey, yeah, we did all these steps in order to receive that money that you gave us. So since California is being asked that by the federal government, California has to ask its residents to submit this proof of work. So yeah, it's a federal requirement. And honestly, like the feeling that my contact gave me is that they actually might feel like you feel and feel like, oh my goodness, why is the federal government making us do this? This is such a hassle. This takes so much manpower. He didn't say that. That was just kind of the feeling that I got, is that they would rather not have to do this step either. Francis, you do PJs. You get them on clearance for my kids, but gifts only little kids in the family. Yeah, a lot of people do that. Something else that makes Christmas a little bit more affordable, it doesn't have to be white elephant, but let's say you've got 10 family members. You each pull one name and you get a gift under $20 for that one person, so that you're not buying for 10 family members 10 $20 gifts, which would be like $200. You're buying one family member one $20 gift, and that makes it a little bit more manageable for people. Other people do what Francis does and just get the little kids presents. Yeah, so just make memories. That's going to be more important. Claudia says, I was asked a few months ago to reset my password, but now when I'm logging in, I'm not able to do so. I tried to reset the password, but I can't remember the answers to the questions. There's going to be an EDD tech support number. That's the number that you're going to want to call. That is a different number. Let me see if I can Google that really quick. Jenny Silver also has a video called the 25 numbers to call the EDD, but you would need to call that EDD tech support. EDD tech support number. Okay. Wait, this is just the 833-978-2511. That's the regular number. Am I gonna have to watch Jenny Silver's video again? Let's see here. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I cannot quickly find it. So I think we're gonna have to. I will say that for technical help, it says check your browser, your internet browser, check your cookies, meaning like maybe try from a cell phone or a friend's device or someone's device that you haven't ever logged on to unemployment from, and maybe that will get you on. Yeah, watch Jenny Silver's video, 25 numbers to call the EDD for technical support. Okay. Omar says, good tidings. Thank you. Tiff says, darn it. Thank you. I didn't spend all of it. That's good. Good morning, Debbie. Yeah, we're talking about holiday stuff. House of Gucci is the number one movie at the theater. I was actually asking for feedback from you guys to find out if the Ghostbusters Afterlife movie is good. Thinking about taking my mom to see a movie. Also, you guys, I've really wanted to talk about finance, and something that the pandemic made me really realize is how unprepared a lot of people are going to be once they hit retirement age. And my mom lives off of a very limited fixed income. So while she's here, I might try and film a video with her on how she lives off of her budget, and, kind of a little bit of advice on basically how not to wind up in her situation. She's very happy with her situation. You guys would also be happy to know that we used a meat thermometer. Now, she pointed out, because I was saying I think I hurt her feelings on the last live, because I was like, sometimes the turkey's a little pink and it makes me nervous. She pointed out that we used the meat thermometer this time, and there are still parts of the turkey that are pink. So maybe that's just normal. I don't know. But I am less worried about it since we had the meat thermometer, and it was tasty, Mom. My mom's in the other room listening to my live right now, which is super sweet. Okay. Lois Lane says, I had just started my business beginning of 2020 and had a couple of orders, but they canceled due to COVID. Mine is non-essential. I don't have the contracts for the potential customers. That's okay. Do you have receipts for the items that you purchased? Or if it's something that you were doing from home, do you have, like like a business plan? Do you have the cost? Could you generate a letter of how much that was going to cost or what you were going to sell? You'd want to send the EDD something like that along with an affidavit outlining what your business plans were. Okay, William, what department is reviewing our documents? I have no idea. I have no idea. For all I know, they could be hiring a special team to do that. So again, earlier I was kind of talking about like pre-pandemic, and I was guessing, right? I don't know the number of employees the EDD had. Let's say they had 100 employees. They definitely did hire um, some people, not even from California, to help with unemployment claims, to help process those, to hire on as customer service representatives. They did generate a contract and bid out that job and give that job to someone else. It's possible it's outsourced overseas at this point, or that in the future that it will be. Um, so I don't know what department is looking at our documents, but I hope that they are keeping on extra people in order to review those documents. But again, for those of you hopping in late, William's asking that because they are possibly really behind on when they're going to let us know if the documents that they've received are acceptable and sufficient proof. And this isn't something that a computer can scan and say, yes, this is fine. Like in the example above, it was a non-essential business, but she doesn't have contracts for the potential customers. So, you know, she's going to have to explain in an affidavit, or she's going to have to submit like invoices for products that she bought. The computer's not going to know, oh, she bought these products, she bought yarn in order to make, I don't know, knit beanies or something, or like socks for dogs. I don't know. Um, they're not going to know without an explanation like, oh, this is why she bought these craft supplies, right? So a computer's not just going to be able to scan a receipt and say, oh, yes, they had a business. That's going to take somebody reviewing it, and 1,000,000 people were asked for proof. So that's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. Debbie, did I get the kitchen clean? The party was nice. It looked like we used a lot of kitchen materials. We did, and what you saw in the back of my Thanksgiving live stream is pretty much all the counter space that I have, right? I don't know why, but I bought like a lot of sparkling waters are sitting back there. The counters were not like free of clutter even before Thanksgiving. But yes, we used a lot of dishes, and the dishes are all done. The counter's still a little bit messy. That'll thin out as we finish eating like the Thanksgiving cookies and things like that. All right. Congo Bent Lady. Did I say that right? Says, I uploaded my job offer letter as a market consultant for a company in China, but did not start the job due to lockdown. Do you think EDD will be asking for more documentation? That seems like that should be enough. And if they do ask for more documentation, or if they do ask to have a follow-up phone determination interview with you, you would just explain, hey, that document that I uploaded, that was a contract to start work, but they canceled that contract due to the shutdown. Oh, Jenny said something about getting a letter from our child's school about not having childcare due to school closure. Yes, that is also a good option, because remember that if you couldn't work due to lack of childcare, that the child care center was supposed to have been completely closed um, due to the pandemic, and or like if you were just re-entering the workforce and you were searching for childcare, potentially if that child care center that you decided on wasn't accepting new children, that might be an acceptable reason as well. But yes, if you can get your child's school or their child care center to submit a letter saying that they were closed, that they couldn't accept your child, that they had a previous conversation with you, that's going to be better even than the affidavit. But a lot of the child cares completely went out of business, just like a lot of the places of employment completely shut down. And if that is the case and you don't have that contact information anymore, you are going to have to go the route of the affidavit. Jenny has also mentioned that she's a little hesitant to write how to write an affidavit letter, because basically that's the weakest source of proof, right? But so many of you said, Shelly, that's the only kind of proof that I can provide, that I wanted to make a video on that. So I do have a video that walks you step by step on how to write an affidavit, if that's all you can provide. But yes, something from the child care center would be better. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, and Debbie, my mom and my roommate actually cook Thanksgiving while I'm at work so that I can't be like, "Oh my God, that's the wrong dish," or "Oh my God, don't use that many dishes. Let's wash some before we do that." So I come home and it's kind of all done, and then that way I don't stress about it. Okay. So it would be California employees to review it, right? Not necessarily. So again, like the EDD, one of the very first times when I called customer service at the EDD, the girl told me, she just flat out said, "I'm from Kentucky." And I thought, why in the world are they having people answer the phones who aren't familiar with the state of California? So I don't know. It's possible that they would hire a company to read these documents that have been submitted, and it's possible that some of those people won't be in California. So yeah, I have no idea who's reviewing the documents. But it's very possible that it won't be people from California. Okay. And Miss Joy says she applied in 2019. The pandemic didn't start until 2020. Weird how they're including 2019. She's going to submit and see what happens, because of that's all she has. So here's the thing about 2019, right? Let's say businesses take a long time to get going, right? Finding childcare before you can re-enter the workforce. Parents like to research where they're going to send their children. So that search, those plans to re-enter the workforce or start your own business, those can take a really long time to get up and going. So the theory is, if you had plans in December of 2019, if you had self-employment taxes in 2019, the theory is that you would have kept going with that in 2020 when the shutdown happened. Thank you, You're welcome, Miss Joy. And thank you for letting your friend know. So yeah, so 2019, that's why they're asking for 2019, and 2019 should be okay. And yes, the affidavit, I gotta figure out, I don't know how to link like my own videos. What is wrong with me? Oh, let's see. Let's see here. Let me see if I can figure out how to link this. Da, 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 da. No, it's not that. Nope, it's not that. I'm trying to see if I can figure out this video on writing an affidavit, if I can figure out how to get it to you. But yes, no, I can't find it. I need somebody that can do the links. Anyway, yes, try and type it out. Try and type out your affidavit. Maybe your business plans are in a notebook. Yes, this notebook has pickles on it, but maybe your business plans are handwritten on a notebook. But I don't recommend submitting that. And I don't recommend submitting an affidavit handwritten. Get your phone out, find the Notes app. Let's see. And type it up on your Notes app, and then like maybe email that to yourself, save it as a, as a PDF, and then upload it in a typewritten form, the affidavit. But yes, you would upload that online. My roommate got that for me last Christmas because I love pickles. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And I think that my roommate got that from the Dollar Tree. Possibly. Let's see here. Young says, I started with regular unemployment in March of 2020 and started to get PUA in April of 2021. Will it be okay if I just submit a 2020 tax return, 1040 Schedule C, and 540 for proof of work? Yes, it would. It absolutely would. So go ahead and send that in. Let me also say, though, that make sure each person's dates that they needed to supply proof of employment, proof of self-employment, or proof of work to the EDD are a little bit different. For most people, that date range is going to be 1 year before you applied for benefits. So I applied for benefits in March of 2020. I am not a PUA unemployment claim, but my guess is that if the EDD was going to ask me for proof of employment or proof of work, that it would be from like March of 2019 to February or the first week of March of 2020. They're looking for, were you actually working, or did you actually have a job offer, or were you actually self-employed before the pandemic happened? William, sure, it could be anybody, I guess, that reviews the documents. So William's asking, could it be the Federal Department of Labor employees? It could be, right? But my guess is that they are also understaffed and like overwhelmed with everything that they've had to do because of the pandemic. So that I would be surprised about that. It could be, but I don't think that's the plan. But I don't know. So it could be. Andrew says, by the way, they haven't asked me anything or told me to verify anything. That is good. I do want to encourage people, even if you had a regular unemployment claim, to hop on your UI Online account and see if there's like an alert in the upper left-hand corner, if there's any messages in the upper left-hand corner, because even some people on regular unemployment claims were asked to provide this proof of employment or proof of self-employment. So I just want to make sure, that you don't miss it, because most people got a text. Some people are not seeing messages in their UI Online accounts, and they're going to be doing the mailed letters, like only if you don't respond to the text, the email, the message on your UI Online account. So please just, if you had an unemployment claim, please log on to your UI Online account and make sure. Okay, good. Good. All right, Andrew. I'm glad to know that. That makes me feel a little bit better. WC1A, if you have a leftover balance from UI, what happens to it? Does it just sit there? It probably shows that it just sits there. At some point, since it's federal funding, at some point, basically, California will need to return those funds to the federal government. But yeah, it's forfeited and you don't have access to it anymore, unfortunately. Pamela, I qualified for a new regular UI claim. I am receiving that now without the boost. I'm getting ready to have a surgery and need to transition over to temporary disability. Can I do that? Then reopen my current UI claim after? I believe so. I do need to tell you that I'm not as familiar with how disability insurance works, but yes, you're correct. If you have a surgery, you wouldn't be eligible to work full time after you have that surgery done, right? There's going to be a recovery period. So you do definitely need to switch over to short term disability. Um, After you collect that short term disability, and you are ready to go back to work, as long as there's two things, as long as there's a balance on your unemployment claim, and then secondly, as long as you're still within your benefit year, which you should be, right? Because they didn't really start the new claims until like September. So as long as you're within your benefit year on that new regular UI claim, you should be able to collect those the rest of your benefits until you're back in the workforce. You should be able to switch back over. I am not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that the EDD will get it right, but should you be able to? Yes. Um, and you're welcome, Yang. EDD specified that the income proof of period is at some point from January of 20 to April 21. So yes. So then your taxes from the year 2020, you would have presumably done those hopefully prior to April of 2021. So yes, then you'll go ahead and do that. Oh, hi, Pamela. Thank you for leaving the purple hearts. Let's see if I can leave Pamela some purple hearts back during the chat. I feel like I could do that. All right. I haven't seen Pam. Some of you I haven't seen in a while. It's nice to see you. MB says self-employment, but never was. She had always been on regular UI. Okay, so MB. Oh, let's go back. I skipped the first part. My mom has been on a regular UI claim, then was moved to PEUC, reapplied and was awarded PUA, and then it was denied. She went back on PEUC. They seem to be asking her for proof of self-employment, but she never was. She'd always been on a regular unemployment claim. So MB, what happened is some of the customer service reps, thinking that they had done us some giant favor. Now let's use the baby Yoda to explain this. They thought they were doing us a giant favor by putting us on a PUA claim because the programming for the PEUC extension was not in place yet. So they wanted to make sure that we didn't have a gap in benefits, but now they're asking for proof of employment. Your mom can just send her W-2, she can send a pay stub, she can send her taxes from the regular employer because PUA wasn't just for the self-employed. One of the other ways that you qualified for PUA is, quote, if you had exhausted all your other benefits. So what some of the reps did while the PEUC unemployment extension was not programmed yet in the California EDD computer system is they put people on PUA unemployment claims so that they wouldn't have a gap in benefits, which seems like a great idea, except for now people who were never self-employed or didn't even know that they were on PUA unemployment claims were put on PUA unemployment claims for a couple of weeks and are now being asked to submit this proof. But if you had a traditional job, yes, MB, last pay stubs would be perfect. That would be perfect. Okay, so Sandy, who should show proof of work or searching for work? Anybody that is asked to upload those documents. If you were asked, so that's what I was just telling MB. Even, his mom wasn't self-employed, or her mom, I can't tell. Anyway, their mom wasn't self-employed, but they're being asked to submit proof of work, proof of employment, or proof of self-employment. So if you were asked to submit those documents, then please submit those documents. Osvaldo says, I started my EDD application in January of 2021, started getting my payments in March of 2021. EDD is asking me to verify employment from 1/20 to 1/20 of 21. I only have pay stubs and W-2s from 12/19. When did you file your taxes for 2019? Although that would be for the 2019 tax year. You started your EDD application in January of 2021 and March of 2021. So they're asking, so the EDD wants to see that you had work, the one or an offer letter to begin work 1 year prior to starting your claim. So what did you tell the EDD in terms of why you hadn't worked the year prior? And then also, like, why didn't you apply earlier for benefits? Submit what you have to the EDD. And then in your case, you might be able to backdate at least to December 6th. You should be able to backdate if you hadn't worked. Osvaldo, this is going to get complicated, but if you hadn't worked that whole time, you should be able to backdate your claim. Because you didn't file until January of 2021, unfortunately, the furthest back that you can request backdating your unemployment claim is going to be December 6th of 2020, but you should be allowed to backdate your unemployment claim. And if you backdated to December 6th, then they would be asking for of 2020, then they'd be asking for documents from 2019. It seems like maybe you missed out on the ability to have your claim paid for a long time. It sounds like you should have been eligible back in March of 2020 or February 2nd of 2020 and you just didn't know. So my heart breaks a little bit that maybe you missed out on benefits. See if you can have your claim backdated. To do that, you're going to go to Ask EDD and request backdating. They're backlogged on approving the backdating. Um, but yeah, and then in regards to the uploading documents, send them what you have. So what I would do is I would go ahead and send those pay stubs from 2019 and I would say, "Hey, the reason why this is all I have is because I waited almost a whole year because I didn't realize that I'd be eligible for unemployment benefits." So send them the affidavit also. Congo Bent lady. I'm very anxious to know when the EDD will respond. Do I have any idea when the time frame will be? Unfortunately, I don't. And one of my viewers on this live was saying that in other states it was taking 4 months to find out. And that kind of sounds like an accurate time frame to me, or it sounds like it could be. We know that on appeals, the EDD is backed up by about 6 months. And these documents that you submit, unfortunately, it's not like a yes no question. It's not like a certification question where it can just be scanned by the computer system and the computer system can say, ah, yes, they qualify, or oh, no, they don't. It means that they're going to need to, be reviewed by a human, which means that it's going to be trickier. Um, to get everything approved. It's gonna take a lot longer, and 1 million people were asked to provide this documentation, so that's going to take a while to sift through. I will say, try not to be anxious, right? As long as you're truthful, it's out of your hands kind of once you've uploaded the documents. There's not a lot more that you can do. So, um put it out of your mind. Put it out of your mind in terms of worry and try and focus on something else because we could be in for a long, bumpy ride. I hope I'm not still talking about unemployment benefits after next Thanksgiving. I would love to switch content. If we are, I'll still be here for you guys, but I would love to switch it up. But it could be a while. Okay, so Osvaldo says I didn't file taxes in 2019 because I only made $1,000. So for self-employment though, you are supposed to file taxes if you made more than $400 in net self-employment income. And um I can hear my voice echoing back in the living room. Anyway, where my mom is watching. That's okay, mom. Don't switch anything. But so 2019, because you only made $1,000, you could go and file a late tax refund, the tax return if you wanted to. I know that's what Jenny Silver recommends. You told him you lost your job in March of 2020. So if you lost your job in March of 2020, do you have any letters from either your employer that you needed to shut down, or like, what documents do you have that line up with that? Send them whatever they have wherever you were working until March of 2020. What can you send them? So that's also something that you would want to do. If you told them that you lost your job, was that like a W-2 job? What kind of job was that? Because if you told them that you were working up until March of 2020, they're gonna want something like from February 2020, be that a pay stub, be that a business plan. It could be invoices from somebody that you purchased goods for your business of self-employment for. It could be invoices that you sent out to people that were buying your product if you were self-employed. Yeah, and Osvaldo, you probably qualified that whole time. Okay. Francis, your aunt didn't know you helped her apply in February 2021, and she's an independent yoga teacher for seniors. Well, your aunt is super sweet for doing that. But yeah, a lot of people didn't know that they qualified. Andrew says, it says you do not need to reapply. You do not have enough wages to establish a new claim to continue to certify every week. It doesn't give me an option to even certify. If the certify button is missing, you can try calling the EDD, but it sounds like your old claim ended and that the computer system knows that you don't have enough earned wages to qualify for a new claim. Um, so if it's not letting you certify though, it could be if you were on the PEUC extension or if you were on PUA unemployment, those programs ended. And so the only way that you would really be able to certify is if you qualified for a new claim, but it's telling you that you don't qualify for a new claim. If you think that you still have wages on your old claim, if your benefit year hasn't ended, if you weren't on an extension, if you were still collecting, if you were within your original benefit year. So at this point, to be within your original benefit year, you would have needed to have first applied for benefits in November of 2020 to November of 2021. So if your benefit year was in that time frame or later, like let's say you didn't apply until February of 2021 of this current year that we're in, then you would still be within your benefit year. And then that's when you would say, hey, I still out of balance and I can't certify because there's no certification button. But if you applied back in March of 2020, when a lot of us lost our jobs due to the pandemic, then you would have been on an extension anytime after March of 2021 of this year. And then even if you had a claim balance, you wouldn't be able to access that or certify for it because those programs expired. I hope that answer made sense. Okay, we are at the hour mark, and it looks like your questions are kind of petering out. So I see Debbie is saying in regards to the issue that the EDD putting some people on PUA, are we sending them to the guillotine? Guillotine? We're not. They were trying, right? They were trying to help people not experience a gap in payments or benefits. Some people were so worried about how they were going to make the ends meet during all of this. The reps really thought they were being helpful. And it just turned out that they weren't. It's the little green guy. All right, guys, let's see. I'm going to see if any of you have any. It does. What should I do now? You had a balance when I looked in September, and I haven't gotten paid since then. That's because all the programs expired in September. So even if you have a claim balance, you don't have access to that. If you were on PUA, you don't have access to any claim balance. If your claim started, if you're not within your original benefit year, meaning when you log on to the claim, it would say let's say you applied in July of this year, it would say July of 2021 to July of 2022. At this point, for most people, even though I gave the November example, at this point within your benefit year would mean you see a specific end date of 2022. So your claim would need to have a benefit year end date of 2022, but PEUC, all those programs expired. Even if you had a claim balance, you unfortunately don't have. Okay, so you applied in March of 2020. So you would need to file a new claim, but you can't file a new claim because you don't have enough earnings. So in order to qualify for a new claim, you needed to have some attachment to the workforce. You would have needed to have gone back to work for a W-2 employer, and then you could see about qualifying for a new claim. But if you haven't worked at all since March of 2020, all the extensions have expired. PUA unemployment has expired. PEUC unemployment expired, which would have been the extension you were on if you had a traditional job. Those benefits are over. Even if you had a claim balance, you don't have a way to access those. And the EDD is telling you that they can already tell that you're not going to qualify for a new claim. And I'm so sorry about that. But at this point, you would have to have attachment to the workforce. You would have to have gone back to work in order to qualify for a new claim. And you're going to have made at least $1,300 in your highest earnings quarter to qualify for that new claim. So you're going to have to go back to work for a little while before they would approve you. There is no way to access that claim balance. It is forfeited and it will be returned to the federal government. I don't love saying those things. Okay. Wahiba says, I want to try and end this. Andrew, Unfortunately, it doesn't quite matter because PUA, so self-employment ended, PUA unemployment, that program also ended on September 4th of 2021. That program expired, so you don't have access to that. Osvaldo says, so should I just tell them that I waited a whole year to apply to EDD because I didn't think I would qualify? So I'd have to ask if they can backdate to December 2020 so I can provide them 2020 pay stubs. I would send them proof of employment now. Um, but what do you have like a pay stub from March? Were you self-employed? Do you have any invoices or anything that you sent that would prove that you were employed during the time frame that they were asking for? Because the reason why they're asking for that, and I don't, they're gonna get confused on your case. I can tell, and that breaks my heart to say that, but I can tell they're gonna be confused. The thing is, the to find out if your claim is approved to be backdated or not, I think you're not gonna find out if it's approved to be backdated until after the deadline to upload your proof of employment documents. So, I would send them everything you have. If you have anything from January or February of 2020, I would send that, or the first couple weeks of March of 2020, any invoices you sent to people, any products that you bought for your business, anything like that. That's what I would try and send from the time that you're asking for, but if you just don't have anything, you're gonna have to send them what you do have. So I would send them the 2019 taxes and then also the affidavit saying, "Hey, I didn't realize, so this is what I have. I actually," the affidavit, you wanna keep it short and factual, and you might even want to reach out to your assembly member on this and see what they recommend, because keep in mind, I also don't want to give you a bad advice, right? I would hate if I told you something and it wasn't good advice, and I can tell that your claim is a little bit complicated. So I don't want to tell you reach out to your assembly member maybe to kind of like get a second opinion. Try and catch one of Jenny Silver's lives and get a second opinion, because I don't want to, they want something from that specific time frame, but in my opinion, the time frame that they're asking for isn't accurate because you didn't get benefits as early as you should have been getting benefits. And you should still pursue getting your claim backdated, but it's just going to overlap. Does that make sense? Guys. All right. Wahiba says, when I applied, I put in work history. I worked for Macy's, but I quit in 2017 because I moved. It was far from me, adjusted, but on January I had a job offer, but because of pandemic, he couldn't hire me. So yeah. So you're either going to want to fill out a affidavit yourself stating that you had a job offer, who it was with, their contact information. Please search Shelly's Millions affidavit. I walk you through step by step how to fill out an affidavit. It's going to be better though if you can have that affidavit filled out on company letterhead from the person that offered you a job. That would be better. Debbie, they were not helpful. Look at the hassle beyond belief that is caused for all of us. The EDD continues to be a complete disaster. I agree with that. Okay, we're going to end this with Miss Joy's question. Once you submit the documents to EDD, is there a way to upload more if you forgot something, or do you have to call? Sorry, I feel like I'm asking a ton of questions. Miss Joy, don't apologize. That's what I'm here for. There aren't too many of you in the chat this morning, and so you picked a great time to get your questions answered. And honestly, that I'm surprised that question hasn't come up more during this live. That comes up a lot. And unfortunately I don't have a good answer for you. I am trying to find out from my contact about that. So hopefully by tomorrow night, I'll have an answer on that. But yeah, you could call. Also, I think from what you told me though, I think it's that what you sent will be enough. So I probably wouldn't worry too much about that, because it's still really hard to call and get through to the EDD, even though most of the programs ended as well. Can I also write an affidavit saying that the reason I took so long is because I was unsure? Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, you can do that. Yes. The thing is, I don't think you're going to find out about the backdating, like if you're approved or not, before your deadline to upload the documents. You know what I mean? So I do think you should try and get your claim backdated, but unfortunately, I don't think you'll find out before the deadline to upload your documents for proof of employment. Thank you, Miss Joy. I try and be upbeat. I am not always. Sometimes I get frustrated. Ask my mom, who's here with me in the other room. But thank you, thank you, thank you. I really enjoy doing this, and I feel like I'm better live than I am in my pre-recorded videos. All right. Yes, I will be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. streaming live again, and hopefully I'll have an answer about what to do if um if you need to upload more documents and your button is no longer there to do that. I will find that piece of information out. Hopefully he'll get back to me by the time I stream tomorrow. Thank you, Sugar Sprinkles. I wish Bad Grandpa was in here because I know he took his kids to see the Ghostbusters movie. I want to know if that's good to take my mom to. So yeah, tomorrow at 9. And then Lois, there can be different deadlines. I think most people's are in February. Most people were given 90 days to upload their documents, but it should say in like your UI online message. I'll look for that again too. I think a few people had a quicker turnaround time, but yes, most people's deadline is February. Okay, guys, thank you guys so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. We are approaching 2022. I hope everybody has a much better year in 2022 than we did in 2020 and 2021. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Mondays at 9 p.m. Sunday morning at 11, Mondays at 9. Okay. Right, Osvaldo. You wouldn't find it's taking a really long time to find out if backdating requests are approved. So I don't think you'd find out if that was approved before February of 2022. All right. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow at 9.